Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, which is very different from virtually everything else out there. And today's topic is a good one because it's not unusual. My partner keeps threatening to leave me as the topic. Now, how are we different? We don't problem solve. We help you fix your marriage altogether. Over 20 years ago, I was a divorce mediator, and I switched careers because I realized that what is out there today, not just 20 years ago, today it's worse, is that marriage counseling is a step towards divorce. Most marriage counseling, couples counseling, simply doesn't work. And so they would come to me as very lucrative, but I started to realize we're missing something here. We're missing on good marriages staying together, learning how to be married, because you don't just get married and expect it to work. It's not a theme park ride, but that is exactly what people do. I did it in my first marriage, and you've probably done that too. So on this particular topic, and by the way, you should subscribe to this channel so you could learn about marriage. And I'm going to be so bold as to say the right way. And what is the right way? Your marriage is should be based on two main things. The reasons people get married in the first place. Number one, you want to be happy. You want to be happier every single day of your life in your marriage. You don't get married to be fighting and arguing and squabbling and feel bummed out. You didn't get married for that. You found your soulmate. And what do you do with your soulmate? You want to experience unconditional love, right? So now, clearly, you guys are arguing. Well, the Marriage Foundation's point of view on that, my point of view, is you should absolutely never, never, ever argue. And what do you do then? Well, you discuss. You learn how to discuss. It's part of the communication part. And we have a course for men. We have a course for women. So you can learn much more than just how to be married, but we'll help you get out of the hole you've dug yourselves into. Because if you're arguing now, which always seems to end with, oh yeah, why don't we just get a divorce, right? Or something along those lines. Well, why does that happen? It's happening because your partner is so utterly frustrated. They don't know what else to do, and they're throwing it out at you saying, is this really why we're together? This is it? This misery that both of us are experiencing? Because it's not just them, it's you also. So here's what I discovered about marriage. Number one, it's purposeful. The purpose for marriage is to be happier every single day of your life in greater and greater ways. The other purpose is to experience unconditional love. You know, the world right now is so far off base because of this fear of not talking about anything spiritual. Well, we're souls, for God's sake. How can we not talk about spiritual things? Now, we don't have to go around saying, oh, I'm a spiritual person and stuff like that. You are a spiritual person. You're a soul. You don't have to talk about it, but you got to understand what you are. So if you're a soul, it means you're made up of love, joy, and wisdom. Those are the component parts of every single soul. But what happens is our minds get in the way. When we become human beings, and I don't want to get into how that happens and stuff, this is not a religious conversation, but we're souls, we become human beings. Gets worse, we decide to be either a man or a woman. Some people can't decide even after they have a body, no problem. They're still a soul. You're a soul. But the mind is connected to your body as well. And you, as the soul, have not been controlling your mind. You have been controlled by your mind, by your habits, by your instinctive reactions, right? By the body's drive to survive. Emotions control you. All these things are controlling you. But it's your mind. You're the one supposed to control your mind. And it's gotten so bad because of the non-education about body, mind, and soul, that you ask just about anybody, how'd you do with your New Year's resolution? And they go, oh, it lasted about 12 minutes. When you're supposed to be able to control your habits. They're not supposed to control you. Now, it's true we give it all up, that free will that we have, when we use wine and booze and marijuana and cocaine and all this nasty stuff that impacts the mind. But habits, simple habits, you should be able to break them at will. You have free will. We don't know how to do that. Now, there's a mechanical component to virtually everything in the universe. There's nothing that doesn't have a mechanical component, even at the level of energy, sound, light. All these things have mechanical components. Energy, in the form of atoms, molecules. There's a mechanical component. There's also a mechanical component to your marriage. But you don't know about it. We're not taught about it. It's no one's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. But we don't know. So now that's the research that I did. I've put it all together. So when we teach people how to be married through either the course for men or the course for women, yes, they're separated because you're not the same. The very first thing you learn is the SOW technique, which I developed, which I created, SEW. Stop, evaluate, act with wisdom. It's much deeper than what it sounds like. But it's like a screwdriver. You can't get that screw out without a screwdriver. This is like the Phillips head screwdriver for controlling your mind, the SOW technique. So we start there while you're educated about marriage as a whole, about your role in the marriage. And by the way, there's a myth out there that it takes two to tango. Well, actually it doesn't. I mean, I've danced in front of a mirror just by myself, but in marriage it only takes one to lead the way. One of you to recreate your marriage, just one of you. It works. In fact, if these couples counselors were honest, they would admit what they already know. Putting people in couples counseling creates so many problems that none of the real problems get solved anyway. But we don't want to solve problems. We want to make your marriage working so well so that there are no problems. And when there are disagreements, you just discuss them. So why are they saying, I'm going to leave? I want a divorce. Why are they saying that? Because they're frustrated and they want you to say, no, I don't want to divorce you. They want you to say, I love you. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. They want you to say, honey, I don't know why we keep arguing, although I do, but I want to stop. I want to have what I imagined we would have when we decided to get married. I want happiness with us all the time. I want that pit in my stomach to go away. I want the frustration of not knowing to just vanish. I want it to be replaced by unconditional love. I want to live with you on the plane of love, because that's where marriage is. That's where marriage is supposed to take place. That's where your communication is supposed to take place, where the exchange of energy is supposed to take place. Love. You know, we often hear growing up, fight evil with good, fight hatred with love. And that's putting it into sort of mundane terminology. It's a little different than that. It's more like where there is love, there's no room for anything else. You live in a container in your marriage. It's just the two of you. And that container, when you infuse it with love, when you infuse it with happiness, it pushes out the junk. But you have to be careful and not throw the junk back in. So use this experience of being told by your partner that they want a divorce to recognize this marriage is not working, but this soulmate is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. And so I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to look into what this guy, Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation, is talking about. He must know something. They've been doing this for 20 years. The reviews on the website are fantastic. The courses obviously work. I'm going to look into this. And bear in mind, we set it up to where you get 3 days to look at it without being billed, and then 90 days of a guarantee. I want you to have what I have, what the thousands of people who have taken the course have, an amazing marriage. So you never hear, I want a divorce. It's an insane thing to say when you put it next to the way your marriage is supposed to be functioning. But it's not your fault. Remember this. You know, we learn about driving a car. And then we get on the road and there's nothing but people driving cars, so we can see what works and what doesn't work. It's very clear. What did you learn about marriage? Where are the examples? Where's the information? It's lacking. And that's what the Marriage Foundation is introducing to the world now. Because marriage is a deeply spiritual relationship, and it really produces unbelievable happiness, incredible love, and I want you to have it. Visit us again. Subscribe to this channel. Blessings to you. Thank you for spending time with me. God bless, and take care.